Hello people, let's see together Autodesk Revit 2016 in a few and easy steps. Leave us comments to improve our next videos. Autodesk Revit is a software used to create and design architectural projects. Differently from AutoCAD, where you create objects and elements from scratch in 2D or in 3D, using lines, arcs, cubes, and meshes, Revit creates projects using objects models like walls, tubes, and roofs. We will design here a very simple basic house to know how to start using Revit. When you open the software, a startup page appears to choose what to open and how to start. On the left, under Projects, use Open to open your future Revit projects and use New to start a new one. You can choose between a project and a project template. The first one is a simple Revit project. The second one is a template that you can use to start from for other projects. Let's just choose the first one. Then choose the measurement unit to use. The workspace you see is composed by different parts. On top you have the menu bar and its sections, where you select and enable the tool to use. On the left you have some important windows. On the center you have the main workspace to draw and create your project. Then on the right and at the bottom you have the visualization tools. Let's first save the project. Just go to the Revit icon in a corner, go to Save As and then to Project. Revit projects are always saved as .rvt files. Save often your project in progress clicking on the Save icon on top. Let's now start drawing. In the menu bar, you have different sections that group different tools. The first three ones, in particular, collect tools to draw objects and systems. Architecture is used to draw the fundamental elements for buildings. Structure collects tools to draw more advanced elements, while systems collects additional elements, like tubes and terminations. We will see just the first tab, very important to understand how Revit works. While drawing a building, it is always better to go from the floor to the roof. Inside Build, under the Architecture tab, you can choose different components to draw. In this case, start with floor. If you click on the small black arrow, you can display all the different floors you can draw. Just choose the first one in this case. Remember that you can hover on the buttons to know what they do and eventually to watch a very useful example video. When you are drawing an element, in this case a floor, you switch from the Architecture tab to the Modify tab in green. The tools you need to use are all highlighted in green. In particular, Draw sets how you can draw this floor. For example, if you choose Line, you draw a floor defining each single side of it. If you choose Rectangle or Circle, you will draw a floor with such a shape, defining area, sides and radius, dragging your pointer. Revit always helps you with length and angle measurements while you draw, and, as you can see, you actually draw from a top view, from up to down. This is what you can do with boundary line enabled. You have other tools below, try them. When you finish creating the floor, click on the green button inside the mode to apply the drawing and close the Modify tab. To undo any creation instead, click on the red cross. While you are in Modify mode, you can edit and correct all items in pink color. You can select each side or curve using the Modify tool to check their dimensions, and click and drag from the points to edit them. Use Ctrl and X, Ctrl and C and Ctrl and V to cut, copy and paste a selected object highlighted in dark blue color. You can also use the tools inside the Modify section to rotate, scale, create offsets, and so on. Use Ctrl and Z if you want to undo any mistake. Objects drawn will appear on the workspace. When you select an object, this will be highlighted in blue, and you can click and drag to move the object. Plus, the Modify tab will be highlighted in green. Edit Boundary will open the Modify tools seen before to edit the floor. Shape editing is used to create a more complex shape. Since the floor is usually flat, we will use this for the final roof. After the floor, it is time to add the basic walls. Enable the Wall tool. As seen for the floor, the Modify tab will open, and so the Draw tools seen before, with the difference that those are applied to walls and not to the boundaries of a floor. The height is fixed by the number right above the workspace in the measurement unit chosen. The walls do merge when you draw them close. To go on with your house, you must know other very important elements inside Revit. This software has three main kinds of elements: the models such as floors, walls and roofs, the view elements and the datum elements. The view elements are items used to understand your project better, for example annotations and text. The datum elements are items used to fix important project properties, like the height from the ground. Up to now, while adding floors and walls, we have always used the 2D top view, so from up to down. This is a plan view placed on the ground and called level 1 by default. You can see it in the project browser window under Floor Plans. The floor and the wall drawn lay on such plan and so on the ground. If you want to see the project through a complete 3D view, simply click on the house icon at the very top. Use the 3D view cube in the top right corner to check your project from all the main directions, like the top, the front one, or from the north or south. Plus, if you click on the full navigation wheel, you can choose between some quick navigation tools, like the penning tool to move around, or the orbit command to rotate in 3D. Just click and drag. Click on the cross to close the tool. To zoom in and out, it is sufficient to use your mouse wheel. In short, you can view your project in two ways, in 3D or in 2D. You are completely free to choose the one you like most to draw and edit your project. If you draw in 2D, you don't have just the plan view to see all from up to down. If you want to see your project from one side, you use an elevation view. To create an elevation view, enable a plan view, clicking on a level from the project browser. Then go to the View tab and click on Elevation. The elevation object is a view element composed by a circle and a line. Add as many as you like and use Escape key to finish. The small line represents the direction of the side view you want to check. This is spread through the segment that appears when you click on the line. Make sure that this covers all that you need to check. You can edit and move this element as a normal object. Then simply double-click on the small line to check the side view. This view shows all that is inside the elevation contour. Through a 3D view or an elevation view, you can place doors and windows more easily. Doors and windows can be imported through the respective buttons. Those do import ready Revit templates representing doors and windows. If you don't have those installed, you can find free ones to download on the internet. Check out the video description to find free templates to use. You can also edit each of these templates in depth. Just select the object and go to Edit Family on top. The elevation views are fundamental to define levels. The default plan view, called Level 1, always lays on the ground. If you draw the roof, this will be placed on the ground, since you have just the ground level available. To add new levels, enable one elevation view and go to Levels on top in Datum. Levels are simply fixed elevations from the ground. You can fix new ones by drawing bold segments with different distances from the ground. One segment is one level, as you can see from the project browser. Right-click to rename if you need. While you fix plan levels, elevation views and the 3D view, the project browser lists all of them. 3D views has the last 3D view saved. Elevations all the side views created, while the plans represent all the levels defined according to the group of models chosen from ceiling to the floor. So, when you add the roof, open the level that refers to the right height and open it in the plan view. The roof added will be in the correct place. If you use a 3D view instead, Revit will suggest you to switch the level. So simply choose the one that refers to the roof and then draw. If you missed this dialog box, just use the work planes correctly. Those set the height to draw floors and roofs while using 3D views. Use Show to check which is the height to be taken as reference, and use Set to change such height. Then just draw. To add the roof, click on Roof and select your favorite draw mode. By default, the roof is like the floor, completely flat. On top, in Shape Editing, you can personalize the shape of the roof. Add points and lines on the roof and pull them up or down using Modify Sub-Elements. On the left, the Properties window shows all the properties of the selected object. At the bottom, you can choose how to view your objects. Choose Realistic for the best 3D preview. Thanks for watching. Check out our YouTube channel for more amazing guides.